Hey guys, welcome to my React. Well, not really series. It's more like it's a thing that I do. To just break it up, a little bit of variety. Right now we are currently reacting to Rowan J. Coleman's Ultimate Stargate Retrospective movie, SG-1 Atlantis and Universe. I've set it back like a couple seconds from it so we can, you know, have like a thing. So sit back, relax, chill out. Yeah, let's have a good time. Oh, I double clicked.
Back in the late 90s. Just as the Next Generation crew continued their adventures on the big screen while Deep Space Nine and Voyager expanded the Star Trek mythos on television, so too would the SG-1 ensemble lead a series of movies, while a new spin-off show would entertain audiences on television. The SG-1 movie would never see the light of day, however, as SG-1 the television show was renewed for a seventh season. The show was a ratings smash for the Sci-Fi Channel, overtaking Farscape as the channel's most watched regular series.
I really need to watch Farscape, man. Because it was, I'm pretty I need to research this, but I thought it was Australian made? Or something? I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true, but
Due to the expense of a theatrically released feature film and the support from the Sci-Fi Channel, MGM, Wright, and Cooper ultimately decided to continue SG-1 on the small screen, folding in their ideas for a movie into the seventh season. Season 7 would see yet another shake-up to the show, or depending on how you look at it, a return to the norm, as Michael Shanks rejoined the cast as Daniel Jackson. Soon after leaving the show, Shanks was allegedly quite surprised by the vocal fan reaction to his departure. After all, his main reason for leaving was a sense that his character wasn't all that important anymore, so to see such a reaction came as quite a shock. Although he was no longer a regular cast member, Shanks was able to make several guest appearances throughout Season 6. During each return trip to the SG-1 set, Shanks was reminded of how much he enjoyed working with the cast and crew, who had grown close after over half a decade together. In a relatively short amount of time after leaving the show, Shanks and his representation entered negotiations to return to the series. Daniel Jackson being such a popular character among fans meant the showrunners were receptive to the idea. However,
I don't know if I've talked about this. I may have to review the footage, but I've always liked Daniel Jackson. Cause I know he feels like a more tame, less brash Indiana Jones. Especially in the later series, in the later seasons. Like more, less action hero, but more like nerdy. I mean, Indiana Jones is a professor, but you feel like there's like it feels like a more balanced Indiana Jones kind of. Yeah.
for the possibility of adding an additional cast member's salary to the show's budget, and allegedly quite a handsome one at that, meant writing Jonas Quinn out of the show in order to return Dr. Jackson to SG-1. One can't help feel a little bit bad for Corin Nemec, who was just beginning to find his feet, and whose character had some great potential. However, Nemec understood the reasons for the change, and departed the series on good terms with the cast and crew. Thus, in the aforementioned Season 6 finale Full Circle, Jackson, in his ascended form, is punished when he tries to intervene in corporeal matters by stopping Anubis attacking Abydos. As punishment for his crime, Daniel is transformed back into a regular human being, and the knowledge he gained while ascended is erased from his mind. In Season 7's two-part opener Fallen and Homecoming, Daniel reacquaints himself with his old life, while SG-1 races to stop Anubis from acquiring a powerful new weapon from Jonas Quinn's homeworld. The two-parter deftly balances Daniel's return and Quinn's departure without either element subtracting from the other. Ironically, the brief time Jackson and Quinn work together on screen showcases how great these two could be together as regulars. Although Quinn found a bond with Teal'c and Carter, his work alongside Daniel Jackson is the first time he comes across as a genuine equal to any other member of the team.
Okay, do some kind of keyword search?
Yeah, for what, Achilles?
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to see that your memory's finally coming back, not to mention your razor-sharp wit, but why don't we try something like power core venting?
In the end, Jonas's return to his home world is tactful rather than rushed. While he never became all that close with SG-1, he was a steadfast ally, and his arc is given a fine conclusion.
You earned it.
Thanks.
And not a second after Quinn has left, SG-1 is back, the way fans know and love.
Yay!
I mind rejoining SG-1 and exploring the galaxy, meeting new cultures, Jeopardy, saving the world, that kind of thing. We get paid for this, right?
Despite this initial feeling of business as usual,
I mean... Wait, that's actually a good point. Does Daniel Jackson still get paid as a consultant after all this time, or is he actually a... I suppose he would be like a member of the military, member of the Air Force. I suppose. Because he does have that training. I don't know. Suppose he doesn't have a rank, does he? So maybe he is still just a contractor. Or consultant.
which characterizes many standalone episodes in the first half of Season 7, the second half of the season ramps up the threat of Anubis with the introduction of the Cull.
Oh god, those things fucking scared me. The fucking super soldiers, those are freaking terrifying.
Introduced in the two-parter Evolution, Teal'c and Braytak come across the aftermath of a recent battle. At first they believe it to be the result of a System Lord rivalry, only for the true perpetrator to reveal himself.
Now you're fucking sick armor, though. Yo, what?
Though initially intimidating in the original movie, after 7 seasons, the Jaffa could be likened to the stormtroopers of Star Wars. Cannon fodder enemies who can barely hit the broadside of a barn and are easily dispatched with a healthy spray of bullets.
Although I do like the, oh, this is one of my favorite, hang on.
This
I love this scene.
is a weapon of terror. It's made to intimidate the enemy. This is a weapon of war. It's made to kill your enemy.
This is why the Cull
Yeah. I need to let that play because it's one of my favorite scenes. The one change that I do, I wouldn't necessarily call them stormtroopers, but it does kind of feel like that because there's like a I mean, you can kind of tell with like when Teal'c was you know, integrating back into the team, there's like a religious element to it. I mean, it's why they're lightly armored. They can just throw wave after wave of Jaffa at the enemy. and just have it like they don't need to be heavily armored because they rely on fear and intimidation to actually, and also the faith of their enemy. I suppose in that aspect they're more like stormtroopers, which also rely on fear and intimidation. And also, weirdly enough, they have the exact same handicap with inaccuracy. Although, ostensibly, stormtroopers have the inaccuracy because of their helmets. Theorized. It's not technically been confirmed, but I mean, it's in the original film where the one of the extras like bonks their head against the lowered door. So the Jafar don't really aim because, you know, they don't have a sight and it's a staff, so it's kind of hard to, you know, really you can only spray and pray with that weapon. Although they do have sights on the Zat guns, the pistols, you see. So I suppose technically they have sights, but yeah. Anyway,
warriors are so effective in their introduction. Not only
I love how it's weird, like how to like freshen up the actual battles that Star Wars and Stargate both turn to like wrist-mounted blasters, like with the B2 battle droids in Star Wars and the Call Warriors as well.
are they borderline
Interesting.
invincible, but what lies beneath their armor is
Oh,
truly
see,
horrifying.
yeah.
Kull are not inhuman, but abhuman. Things given just enough life to understand how to take orders and how to kill, but little else. They appear not as corpses, but creatures who never fully formed.
I serve Anubis.
While their
Look like
introduction
ballistic
and evolution
dummies.
is a memorable one, the conclusion of the two-parter becomes sidetracked by a hostage plot in South America. The Cull's best episode, in my opinion, comes later in the season in Death Knell. When the Alpha site comes under sudden attack from Anubis' forces, Jack and Teal'c are sent to find Carter, who is missing in action. The highlight of the episode is Carter's Predator-inspired contest with a pursuing Kull warrior. While Carter is highly competent, being as handy with a machine gun as she is with a microscope,
I really don't remember this episode. Maybe it's just like recency bias. I like keep on the earlier episodes are like, you know, more firmly planted in my mind, I guess. I don't know.
Death Knell shows us a side of the character we rarely get to see. Alone, in the field, with no gadgets or weapons, Carter has nothing to rely on to survive but her own wits and resourcefulness. It's always great to see Stargate go gritty with its action, and it's no more effective than in Death Knell, which has some truly nail-biting moments. In these wordless stretches, the episode resembles the excellent Who Monitors the Birds from Space Above and Beyond, but much of Death Knell's runtime is taken up by the B-plot of the Tok'ra and Free Jaffa ending their alliance. This is an important story turn, building on the tension between the two factions first seen in the previous season's terrific episode Allegiance, and there's also rich material for Jacob when he realizes the Tok'ra leadership have cut him out of decision-making. There's also a logic in pairing these events with the down and dirty.
It's kind of fucked how they did that, by the way. They've the backstory to that is that well, understandably, considering he's his host. Oh shit! Do I remember the actual? Oh, I think he must have like named the actual Tok'ra that actually infects Jacob, but The Toko's name escapes me. The snake. It feels that because of Jacob and Sam's relationship that he's too biased. Which does make sense, but still annoying.
Desperation of Carter's plotline. However, the two halves of the episode ultimately end up distracting from rather than reinforcing each other. That being said, it's still a captivating showcase of Samantha Carter's character and another demonstration of the threat posed by Anubis. That same grit features prominently in the two-parter Heroes, which
oh god, Heroes. Oh, this one's so fucking sad. Yeah, Shh. Shh.
follows a documentary crew commissioned by the US president to put a positive spin on the Stargate program for the day it becomes public. I know this will be yet another controversial opinion for me, considering how highly regarded the episode is for many.
It is technically a clip show. Technically.
Fans, but honestly, I've never liked this two-parter. It's commendable in many ways, for its ambition and experimentation with narrative structure, unfolding in a non-linear fashion, and with filmmaking style utilizing handheld camera and interview pieces. There are also several strong guest performances from Saul Rubinek as documentarian Emmett Bregman, as well as Robert Picardo as Richard Woolsey.
Hey. Oh, I'm gonna skip over this part, because, yeah, I kind of want to... You know what, I might... Yeah. Sorry about this, but, I don't want to spoil that episode. Or that two-parter, because it's really good. Anyway.
Being inordinately serious and somber. Considering how closely the Pentagon worked with the show, I can't help but feel the episode leaning towards propaganda in these final moments.
Yeah. As I was watching it, I did, well, as I rewatched it, I'm like, out of syndication. It does feel like propaganda in, like, the later seasons.
I know not everyone feels the same way, and I can understand why others regard
A little
the
bit.
episode so highly, but for me, Heroes has always left a bad taste in my mouth. Season 7 concludes with what would have been the Stargate SG-1 movie, Lost City. SG-1 races to mount a defense of the Earth before Anubis arrives to conquer the planet. This quintessential Stargate adventure echoes the Season 1 finale in its basic premise, but in doing so, it only serves to highlight just how far humanity has come since.
That's a cool pause. After this point, I feel like seasons 9 and 10 kind of go off the deep end. I mean, you'll see, like, later on, but, like, yeah, it kind of goes weird. You'll see.
Whereas Earth was virtually helpless in the
This
Soviet
is like
grasp,
Perhaps when the warships of your world attack, we'll be able to.
the...
Did you say the ships of our world?
Surely you have such vessels.
Well, we have a number of
Shuttles. Yes.
These shuttles. They are a formidable craft.
They got big cargo space. More like a station wagon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big.
in the Lost City
Yes.
we get this.
Freaking F302s. Hell yeah.
Prometheus.
SG-1, this is Hammond. Do you read?
Yes, sir. It's good to see you.
This punch the air moment feels like the culmination of so much of the show. Whereas humanity could only hope to fend the
Dude, I
ground off
really
with
love the
small
design
skirmishes before, the Lost City sees the
of
Tauri
Earth
finally
ships
meeting their
in this show.
enemies
It's
toe-to-toe
very
in
nice.
open battle. Even so, it's still a close-run thing, as SG-1 succeeds in unleashing an ancient weapon just in time to stop Anubis. However, like the previous season's Full Circle, the Lost City concludes on a triumphant but uncertain note, as Jack O'Neill, overcome by the wealth of ancient knowledge in his mind, places himself in stasis. The others watch on,
Ow.
unsure if they'll ever see their friend again. Naturally, Jack O'Neill would return, albeit in a reduced capacity. Once again, Stargate SG-1 excelled in the ratings, and the Sci-Fi Channel commissioned an 8th season. However, Richard Dean Anderson was unsure about his return. At the time, the actor was raising a young daughter, and he grew concerned that his busy schedule filming SG-1 was taking too much time away from home. At the same time, Don S. Davis had to step away from the series entirely due to health concerns. While it was under less than ideal circumstances, this change in cast presented the showrunners with an option which would both accommodate Anderson's schedule while also serving the story. To explain Davis's departure, the showrunners gave General Hammond a promotion to leader of the Homeworld Security Department.
Yeah, see, this isn't actually, the reason why the, show kind of lost its, luster for me. It's more due to story reasons. It's not that, I mean, you'll probably meet the new characters, soon, but, there's,
leaving command of the SGC vacant. In the season opener, following a brief stint with civilian Dr. Elizabeth Weir in charge, more on her in a future video, Jack O'Neill is promoted to Brigadier General and made head of Stargate Command. This change allowed Richard Dean Anderson to remain on the show, but with far fewer shooting days. This change, far from limiting the show, gives O'Neill's character interesting new territory to explore,
depth.
as seen in episodes like 0 Hour. With a presidential visit in 5 days, O'Neill struggles to adjust to his new role as head of the SGC. 0 Hour is a fun and creative bottle episode, which presents a new side to the show and O'Neill's character. The usual SG-1 mission happens entirely off-screen. Between Baal holding the team for ransom, O'Neill also has to deal with an out-of-control alien plant, sluggish trade negotiations, and dull office admin. The usually implacable O'Neill finds himself totally out of his element, and he even considers resigning from his new position. His usual flippant mockery only serves to inflame the situation.
Yeah.
Mock me.
Ball, come on. You should know. Of course I dare mock you.
Also, side note, Ball, one of my favorite system lords. The actor for him recently passed away. He was so good.
Overall, it's an episode about growth. O'Neill, like the show, is moving in a new direction, and though it may be scary, there's still a lot of fun to be had.
You should read what Teal'c and Daniel wrote about your conduct under fire.
Can I?
No.
That's
Season 8
illegal.
has plenty of solid episodics, but there's a sense of looming finality to it all. The main characters are on their way to bigger and brighter things, and long-running villains the Trust, as well as recurring characters like Kinsey and Mayborn, are given suitable endings. And the Go Old largely take a back seat to the far more dangerous impending threat of the Replicators, who managed to escape the time dilation trap in the season opener New Order.
God, I hate the design of the ship. The replicator ship. It unfolds like a spider. Ugh.
While the replicators remain a dangerous and fascinating enemy, now led by a nanomachine clone of Samantha Carter, the Goa'uld
Nanomachines, son.
arc gets quite muddled in Season 8, with Anubis
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't really like
defeated
it.
in the Lost City. We once
Yeah.
again have a lone system lord conquering the others and threatening the galaxy.
This time it's
Baal.
Ball. Yeah.
However, Baal is
Baal.
only playing second fiddle to
Ball.
Anubis, who, as it turns out, survived the Battle of Antarctica and now hops from body to body in an energy form, not unlike Ra in the original movie. Anubis and Baal are effective villains, but their storylines in Season 8 feel like rehashes of ideas the show had already exhausted. Despite overstaying his welcome, Anubis' arc is brought to a conclusive end in the two-parter Reckoning.
The mixing's a little bit off. Sorry about this.
When the replicators launch an
Oh,
attack
there we
on
go.
the galaxy, SG-1, the Tok'ra, and Free Jaffa form an uneasy alliance with Baal in order to use an ancient superweapon to stop them. Reckoning is classic Stargate, firing on all cylinders. Big, spectacular storytelling where time is short, the action is epic, and the fate of the entire galaxy is at stake. My only criticism with Reckoning is that it shows us something which would have been great to see more of. The heroes and the villains teaming up to stop a more powerful enemy. The brief interactions between SG-1 and Baal are a delight to watch.
Yeah.
Both sides take every opportunity to snipe at each other, even as the replicators close in.
You know that bitter taste in your throat? It's kind of wrapped around your uvula.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's left of your pride.
Perhaps you could curb your amusement for a moment.
The bristling chemistry between the actors and the charisma of Cliff Simon's performance did not go unnoticed by the showrunners.
Yeah. Cliff Simon's great.
But more on that later. With this ultimate battle coming to a head on all fronts, Reckoning builds into an effective and intense climax. While Reckoning is the true climax of the season, the following episode, Threads, is the real denouement. It's akin to Babylon 5's Objects in Motion and Objects at Rest, in that rather than a grand epic showdown, Threads dedicates its runtime to saying a slow goodbye to this era of the show. Anubis is finally and definitively defeated at the hands of the Ascended.
No. No. No.
Bye.
And Carter says goodbye to her father, who tragically succumbs to illness and age.
Sorry. Silmac. That's the name of the Tok'ra inside Jacob. That just came to me. Sorry. Ooh.
In its commitment to its sincerity, the episode also pays off a long-running inside joke set up all the way back in Season 3, by having Carter and the rest of SG-1 finally go fishing with O'Neill.
This is great.
I told you.
Can't believe we didn't do this years ago.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
let's not dwell.
There are no fish in this pond, are there?
Nope.
While Threads is the heartwarming farewell to the show, the following two-parter Mobius is an extended epilogue which has a little more fun with itself. During a mission into the past, SG-1 unwittingly creates a new timeline in which the Stargate was never found on Earth, and therefore the previous 8 years of adventures never happened.
Yeah, the timey-wimey. Yeah. I mean, you gotta love, like, time travel related episodes. They're fun.
When this alteration is discovered via a videotape from the original timeline, the alternate versions of SG-1 must come together and repair their mistake. Mobius essentially functions as an extended look back at just how far the series has come. We re-encounter Teal'c as Apophyse's first prime, and O'Neill still depressed over the loss of his son. Meanwhile, Daniel and Sam are ostracized intellectuals, having never had the confidence or the opportunity to showcase their brilliance. Amanda Tapping's performance as the socially awkward nerd version of Samantha Carter is
Weirdly enough, I like this version of Carter better. I know. It's just me. Yeah.
especially amusing.
And just because my reproductive organs are on the inside instead of the outside doesn't... God, that's horrible. Who would ever say that?
Yes, who would ever say that? Looks at the camera.
These moments of fan service are nicely sprinkled in throughout the episode.
Oh. That man to the right of Hammond will become important later. He's actually one of my favorite characters in like the next series.
Including a payoff to the romantic tension between Carter and O'Neill.
See, usually
He's also a dick. A lovable dick.
I'm a very cautious person and I tend to think things.
Yeah.
And after
Finally.
this fun romp through time,
Kind of.
SG-1 returns to where it left off, having satisfied both the characters and the fans.
Huh.
Didn't that tape say there were no fish in your pond?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Having finally defeated their longtime enemies and the team ready to move on to other things, Mobius would seem like the perfect way to wrap up Stargate SG-1 for good. Richard Dean Anderson was no longer able to commit to even a reduced filming schedule, and Amanda Tapping was also starting a family by that point, and so her availability for future seasons was in doubt. It seemed logical to make Mobius the end of Stargate SG-1. In its place, executive producers Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper toyed with the idea of a new spin-off show called Stargate Command. Such a show could continue using these standing sets and ready-made props and costumes, while bringing in new characters who could stand alongside any SG-1 cast members who wanted to come back. Michael Shanks and Christopher Judge were keen to reprise their roles for the new series, but Amanda Tapping was unsure at the time. It was clear some new blood was needed to fill out the rest of the ensemble. Taking over as base commander was Beau Bridges as General Hank Landry.
Maybe it's been a long while since I actually seen his episodes, because, yeah, they're in season 8 onwards. But, yeah, he's fine, I guess.
Beau Bridges, son of Lloyd Bridges and brother to Jeff Bridges, had a decades-long acting career spanning stage and screen by the time he joined Stargate, and had already worked with Brad Wright in the pilot episode of The Outer Limits. Lexa Doig, known for playing the title role in the sci-fi series Andromeda, joined the cast as Dr. Caroline Lamb.
I also had a little bit of a crush on her. Not as strong as, well, the other big, Stargate crush that I had, they're all doctors. I realized they're like doctors and medics. I wonder if that says something about me. I don't know.
Amanda Tapping finally confirmed she would be able to reprise the role of Samantha Carter. However, she wouldn't be able to film the first 6 episodes of the season. Leading SG-1 would be a new character, Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Mitchell.
Weirdly enough, I like this guy. I like him about the same as O'Neill, but for different reasons. Yeah.
Played by Ben Browder. In a rather serendipitous turn of events, Browder would be joined by Claudia Black.
I know. Yeah, this one. I. It's not that she's a bad character. I just really don't like the characters. Like, I don't know how to word this. It's her characters aren't bad, but they just rub me the wrong way. Like her one in Uncharted 2 when she played what's her name? Um the the so-called, new love interest. I think she came back in Uncharted, like the spin-off game with the other chick who was in 4. Yeah, anyway. And actually I decently liked her character in Pitch Black, which is where I know her from as well. Yeah. Vala, really, I don't like. Yeah. Yeah.
As recurring character Vala Maldoran. Ben Browder and Claudia Black were well known to fans of science fiction for their starring roles in Farscape. The series was famously cancelled after its 4th season, but later concluded in the miniseries The Peacekeeper Wars. It was during Farscape's hiatus that Wright and Cooper first broached the idea of a role on Stargate SG-1 to Ben Browder. Now that Farscape had concluded, Browder could finally take them up on their offer. Claudia Black's Vala had previously been introduced in the Season 8 episode Prometheus Unbound. Her introductory scene is almost a parody of her first appearance in Farscape.
It is very funny. Watch.
Well, you kept the wrong guy, because I don't know anything about the ship.
But you are very attractive.
Huh?
What? Big guy. I'm flattered, really, I am. It's just that, you're not my type. Whoa, no, you don't have to do that. Don't.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Thank God.
Don't worry, I'm actually attractive.
I hope.
Although Vala would only return as a recurring character in Stargate Command, Claudia Black and Ben Browder both joining the series was a huge win for the new show. The show was still called Stargate Command quite far into production, with the title even being dropped in the opening scene of what would have been the premiere episode.
Welcome to Stargate Command!
But as production began, Wright and Cooper were receptive to MGM's suggestion of abandoning the Stargate Command show and simply rebranding it as Stargate SG-1 Season 9.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of abandoned like spin-offs, isn't there? Like the spin-off movies like early on, like a couple of spin-off series that never really went anywhere. It's interesting.
This was a risky proposition, as for many fans, Richard Dean Anderson was the face of Stargate SG-1. Due to this rebrand, it appeared to some that fan favourite Jack O'Neill had been replaced by a younger character who was, at first glance, a pale imitation of the wisecracking action hero that fans knew and loved. Despite the abandoning of the Stargate Command series, Stargate SG-1 Season...
I mean, to be completely honest, I didn't really like Ben Browder for these exact reasons when I caught up to this part. But, if you watch it again and again, you kind of get to, yeah. understand their their positive qualities.
9 functions as a soft reboot of the show.
I mean, Vala, you know, I still have my doubts on, but I understand what she brings to the show and stuff, even though I don't agree with it.
Cameron Mitchell is cleverly introduced as an audience surrogate character, a great admirer of SG-1 and their exploits, who is already tied into the mythology of the show as his character was present during the Battle of Antarctica.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's the
Yeah, I do actually like his backstory. His backstory is actually really, really freaking cool.
Verse of Jonas Quinn's introduction. Rather than framing the story from SG-1's perspective as they struggle to accept a new member, Season 9 begins by following Mitchell struggling to reunite SG-1, who have all moved on to other things. Carter now works at Area 51, Jackson is prepping to join the Atlantis expedition, and Teal'c has found a place among the leaders of the new Jaffa nation. Eventually, Mitchell's wish is granted when Vala arrives with an ancient tablet, supposedly pointing the way to a vast treasure.
I think the actual backstory, because Vala is actually introduced as a, I want to say, bounty hunter. I think bounty hunter and mercenary. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't like her at first.
The ensuing adventure puts SG-1 on a path to confront a powerful new enemy, the Ori.
Yeah. To me, the Ori, I think, I mean, the idea of them is cool, but it feels a little bit too similar to how the Wu kind of did things. Only except, as you know, as you see if you watch the actual series, the Ori's gods are real. They actually do have power because, well, you'll find out. They're like, yeah, you'll find out.
I won't beat around the bush here, so I'll just come out and state another controversial opinion. The Ori arc, covering seasons 9 and 10 of Stargate SG-1, is, for me, the best part of the show.
Okay. One thing I do like about the Ori, designing of their ships look freaking cool as shit. I know what it is about ships with holes in them, like strategic holes in them, that make me squee, but that it does.
It takes all of the
I
best
really
bits
like
from
them.
the old arc and builds them into something with higher stakes, richer drama, a grander scope, and more intriguing narrative ideas.
Also, cooler armor. I mean, look at the freaking armor. It's like well, it's like medieval, semi like Viking-esque.
And beyond the writing, there's a lot to like about the new cast. Personally,
Other than
I am
Egyptian.
a huge Farscape fan, which shouldn't surprise long-time viewers of this channel, so it's a delight to see Ben Browder and Claudia Black together again in another sci-fi series. It's also worth noting that neither of their characters are carbon copies of their Farscape roles or cheap imitations of established Stargate characters some may perceive them to be replacing. Cameron Mitchell is not the discount version of Jack O'Neill many would assume him to be. While they do have some crossover in their sense of humor, Mitchell is far less confident.
What if the world needs saving?
Well, if the world needs saving, I will be there to do what I can.
What if the world needs saving because I screwed up because you weren't here in the first place?
Yeah, when I rewatched this, I kind of identified with Mitchell with this. Yeah, what if I fuck up? He's like very not confident in himself, and I'm just like, yes, this is me.
He is defined by his near-death experience at the Battle of Antarctica, his
Yeah.
fight to recover from his injuries, and the survivor's guilt he feels over those in his unit who didn't make it. He's a man out to prove himself, to others certainly, but himself mostly. Whereas O'Neill was eternally optimistic, Mitchell is terrified of failure, of letting himself down and the people around him. Mitchell's eternal battle to prove his worthiness makes him just as reckless as he is heroic.
Okay, that thing is going to kill him.
Yeah, this whole arc, it's good, but it's also really weird, and it comes out of nowhere.
Okay, that's enough for today.
No, I can do this.
I swear this makes sense in the show, like...
Mitchell's doggedness is also reinforced by his humor, whereas O'Neill's one-liners and sarcasm often came at the expense of the drama. Mitchell's sardonic remarks and big expressions helped to reinforce the drama. Ultimately, Cameron Mitchell is far more than a mere O'Neill stand-in, and quickly comes into his own as a distinct and interesting character, anchored by a fantastic performance from Browder. Meanwhile, Claudia Black is so memorable as Vala Maldoran that I always forget she isn't even a regular cast member until the following season. Vala fires off a ton of great lines in the first episode of the season.
Thank you so much for the lovely greeting party. We all had a wonderful time searching each other, didn't we, boys?
Jesus. Yes, we get it. You're assertive and hot. Jeez.
I know nothing about your fair planet. Other than it seems to have a rather interesting, if somewhat limited, gene pool.
Oh, I just got that.
And maintains
Yeah, just
its
got that.
infectious
What the fuck? Okay, that's funny.
charisma and humor in every subsequent episode she appears in. However, there are more layers to Vala than one might expect. As the former host of A Go Old, Vala was hated and rejected by her homeworld and took up a life of crime to help herself because she believed no one else would. This is what makes her journey with SG-1 so compelling. At first, she joins them simply as a way to find more riches and amuse herself at the same time. But as the series goes on, Vala slowly opens up to the team, and while she maintains her sarky demeanor, it's clear she starts to care for them, and they for her. Other new cast members like Beau Bridges as General Landry and Lexa Doig as Dr. Lamb slot into the show just as smoothly. In many ways, they are the polar opposites of their predecessors. While Hammond was a stern commanding officer with a heart of gold underneath, Landry comes across as warm and friendly in a folksy kind of way. And in contrast to the...
Yeah, he is very, maybe not fatherly, but, like, yeah. Amiable. Amiable, yeah. That's the word, yeah.
nurturing Dr. Fraser, Dr. Lamb is more blunt and reserved. Later on, we discover her stout temperament may have a lot to do with her strained relationship with her father, who is General Landry himself.
I spoke to Mom recently. All those years I was growing up, I resented the fact that you never told us anything about your work, about why you had to leave us for days, sometimes weeks at a time. But now, I'm beginning to understand how hard it must have been for you. Talking to Mom the other day, I wanted to reassure her, to tell her everything, but I couldn't. It was hard.
This kind of dramatic character conflict is woven into the new cast well without ever feeling forced or inappropriately angsty. It feels refreshing following the preceding seasons where the regular SG-1 ensemble became such a well-oiled machine that many scenes felt as though they were simply going through the motions.
Yeah, it was
Seasons
rote
9
motions,
and
yeah.
10, however, are purposefully made to shake things up. After the typical Indiana Jones-style adventure of the two-parter Avalon, the following episode, Origin, changes gears when Jackson and Vala are unexpectedly transported to another galaxy. There they
Yeah, this is kind of fucked up.
discover a medieval-like society whose denizens worship an all-powerful pantheon of gods called the Ori. As antagonists, the Ori are an excellent example of power creep being used effectively. At first glance, the Ori are a repeat of the Goa'uld, alien beings who demand to be worshipped as gods and destroy all those who oppose them. However, what makes the Ori more interesting is that they truly seem godly. The Goa'uld were powerful, but much of their power can be ascribed to advanced technology, which any
Technology and also fear. You know,
sci-fi
that
fan
old
will
chestnut.
recognize. Spaceships, force fields, energy weapons, and so on. While they may have seemed all-powerful to those they oppressed, there was never any doubt in the minds of the main
Yeah, it was just like, those in the know that they have all bark, no bite.
characters that what they were fighting were not gods.
Mm.
The Ori, however, are not only powerful in ways the characters cannot fully explain, but their Christian mythological inspiration means their impact hits far closer to home.
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. I mean, even though I'm not, like, religious myself, it kind of... Yeah.
Look, just because we know there is some beings on a higher plane of existence than ourselves does not mean there's not an order of being higher than them. At least I reckon that's what my grandma'd say.
I mean, somewhere in there you gotta fill in the blanks with a little faith. I had a grandma too.
Huh.
Their esoteric might is aptly demonstrated when Vala is condemned as a heretic and chained up to be burned at the stake. At first, Vala maintains her sense of humor, and despite Daniel's struggles, the viewer is confident that a last-minute rescue will save Vala from the flames.
I was trying to politely explain what was going on, and then his wife started screaming and accusing me of being overcome, at which point I believe I suggested she might want to think about procreation with herself.
But as those flames draw closer, Vala's defenses fall and Jackson is reduced to pleading for her life.
Okay, listen to me! Listen to me, you have to believe me!
Yeah, this is so fucked, man.
And in a shocking
Goddamn.
turn, the fire reaches Vala, and Daniel is forced to watch in horror as she burns to death.
Jesus.
In the moment, there appears to
God
be no
damn.
getting out of this. No last-minute rescue, no wounds which can be healed, no alien medical technology to help her. For all intents and purposes, Vala is dead. This makes what follows feel genuinely miraculous. It's a clever way of introducing a new antagonist for the series, as in this moment they function as much-needed saviors. Their heavenly home in the city of Celestis may even lead a viewer to wonder if these godlike beings may not
Are
be
actually
intrinsically
gods.
evil despite the extremism of their followers. That is, until the episode finally lets the curtain drop, revealing a pit of fire silhouetting the Ori's satanic herald, and backed up by a score which sounds like it's been ripped right from the Omen soundtrack.
In the name of the gods, ships shall be built to carry our warriors out amongst the stars, and we will spread origin to all the unbelievers. Hallowed are the Ori.
Yes.
Hallowed are the Ori.
The Though an invasion is on the horizon, much of Season 9 depicts an ideological conflict across the galaxy, as the priors of the Ori slowly convert more and more worlds to their religion. What makes this conflict so interesting is that it's largely centered on faith. The power of the Ori is undeniable, and despite SG-1's knowledge of what the Ori really are, they have no evidence to back it up. Furthermore, they have no way of effectively fighting back against the Ori, so any world that does resist is almost certain to perish. What follows is the prelude to a holy war, which includes plague, pestilence, and a swarm of almost locusts.
God
the
damn.
conflict especially hits home for Teal'c when the new Jaffa
It's very
leadership is
biblical.
swayed to the Ori side. Though the Jaffa leader Garrick, played by Louis Gossett Jr. of Enemy Mine fame, is the antagonist of the arc, the story is largely sympathetic to him. Having been under Goa'uld control for so long, it's easy to see why many Jaffa would seek solace from a force like the Ori,
Yeah, it does
even
make
after
sense.
freeing themselves from slavery. The path proposed by Teal'c and Braytak is more moralistic, but it's also
Yeah, they want like the backing of, like, you know, like the surety of someone backing them.
also more
I guess.
uncertain and difficult. As the strife within the Jaffa escalates, Teal'c is forced to confront Garrick directly, not by standing against him, but by reminding him of their shared struggles and sense of brotherhood.
Stay this course, and you will have no choice but to spill the blood of your brothers. And you may start with me.
Louis Gossett Jr.'s performance strikes the perfect balance of intimidation and nobility, a man who simply wants what's best for his people, and he displays a great deal of selflessness in his ultimate redemption.
Did we help you? Are we done? But I will die free!
The nuances, difficulties, and cost of this conflict are evident most in the episode Ethon, when an inhabitant of the planet Tigalis informs Stargate Command that his nation has sided with the Ori in exchange for a superweapon they can use to attack their Cold War rival. The Tauri decide to step in with disastrous consequences. What makes the conflict in this episode so difficult to resolve is how desperate each faction is. All sides are driven by fear for their survival and fear of the other. In a rare turn for the show, Ethon is a narrative where characters are swept along by larger events, unable to make significant change. Attempts at manipulating either side of the planet's Cold War or to destroy the Ori superweapon fail utterly. The gauntlet is truly thrown down when the Ori weapon destroys the Prometheus, Earth's first starship, and a symbol of how far the Tauri have advanced. Though only a minor recurring character, seeing the ship's commander, Colonel Pendergast, go down with his ship is devastatingly effective.
Fire the weapon! Wait!
Even after Daniel Jackson manages to pull off a miracle in quelling the conflict, the episode eschews Stargate SG-1's usual upbeat ending.
So I take it then you haven't heard. Soon after we left, the talks broke down. And we've been unable to make contact with them. General Landry had the Daedalus reroute on its way back from Atlantis. The Stargate is presumed buried in the rubble.
None of this darkness overtakes the show, however, as SG-1's 9th and 10th seasons still remember to have fun in episodes like Ripple Effect and Bad Guys. The former is an extended tribute to longtime viewers of the show, where parallel reality shenanigans facilitate the resurrection of long-lost fan-favorite characters.
Daniel? Teal'c, where's General O'Neill?
I'm sure you all have a lot to catch up on.
The latter, meanwhile, delights as an impromptu Die Hard spin-off, which sees SG-1 becoming the unwitting villains of a hostage standoff.
I do remember this one. It's fun. It's fun.
There are some terrific turns from the guest stars, but it's Michael Shanks who steals the show with some of his best comedic acting.
She started it. I think you started it when you kissed Harry.
Shut up! You're hostages. This is like a life and death situation here. Start acting like it.
Don't eyeball me.
In the season finale, Camelot, the Ori launch a full-scale invasion of the galaxy using a supergate.
Supergate.
The Tauri and their allies decide to muster all their strength and meet the Ori head-on. Camelot makes the ultimate statement of Ori power by completely pulling the rug out from under the audience. Echoing Season 8's Reckoning, Earth, its allies, and some enemies all gather together in one massive fleet to stand against their common foe. From here, viewer expectations are obvious. A desperate but epic battle against the Ori ships, and when all hope seems lost, Teal'c will swoop in at the last minute with much-needed reinforcements to turn the tide. The climactic battle of the episode fits this structure to a T, but only to prime the viewer for when the episode breaks with this structure.
Yeah.
Rather than a triumphant victory, Camelot sees Earth and its allies suffer a crushing defeat. The fate of every major character is left uncertain, and Vala is left standing at the heart of the horrors to come.
Dude.
With the Ori invasion now in full swing, Season 10 expands the conflict into a full-scale war, which puts the Tauri and their allies on the back foot from the first episode. Despite all of SG-1 surviving the pivotal battle of the Supergate, it's clear they have no hope of matching the Ori in open battle. It isn't long before the Ori's relentless war machine conquers both the Jaffa homeworld of Chulak and their capital Dakara. In order to turn the tide, SG-1 embarks on another Indiana Jones-style treasure hunt, facing down a living, fire-breathing dragon.
See it? Like...
And even
what?
meeting the wizard Merlin in the flesh.
You look familiar. Genevieve. Oh, my dear. It's been too long.
While the Ori continue to be the
Like
primary
what?
threat of the series, Season 10 is also where the former Goa'uld system lord Baal really cements himself as a fan-favorite villain. Baal was first introduced all the way back in the Season 5
Season
episode
5,
Summit,
yeah.
and made another notable appearance in Season 6's Abyss.
Do you not know the pain you will suffer for this impudence?
I don't know the meaning of the word. Seriously.
Seriously though, what does it mean?
Impudence. What does that mean?
Like many Goa'uld characters at the time, Baal came with an interesting design and posed a unique physical threat, but wasn't all that interesting as a character. Over the course of his subsequent appearances, however, this began to change. Unlike most other system lords, Baal's demeanor was far more passive-aggressive than megalomaniacal, and his modus operandi was more subtle and insidious. However, most of the character's success can be attributed to actor Cliff Simon, whose charisma was enough to make him stand out as a villain, even when the character was initially written in a more typical way. The character's enduring quality is cemented further by the existence of his seemingly endless clones. No matter how many times SG-1 captures, kills, or humiliates Baal, he always comes back with that same wry smile, hiding yet another elaborate plan to trap the main characters. While Baal makes several great appearances this season, particularly in the two-parter The Quest,
I need your help.
Well, that's hardly surprising. I know where you come from, you're considered relatively intelligent, but by galactic standards, that's not really saying much. Wouldn't you agree?
Watch him. Yeah.
his best outing comes in the episode Insiders. When Baal's ship crash lands on Earth, he informs SG-1 that his clones have turned against him, and in exchange for wiping them out, he will give them the location of an ancient superweapon capable of destroying the Ori. However, the Baals the team come across all claim to be the original, and all claim SG-1 are walking into a trap.
I love it. It's great.
The episode is a terrific showcase of Baal's unique strengths as a character. As each new Baal is captured, SG-1's attempts to figure out exactly who's who and what they're planning become increasingly convoluted in the best way. Also, the episode has plenty of fun with puns.
Chief, got a full count. 2 strikes, 3 balls.
I understand you got yourself a few extra balls.
Those are the balls?
More like dots, really.
Eventually, the other shoe drops, revealing that SG-1 rounding up all of the balls to figure out
It was all part of their plan.
was in fact Ball's plan all
Yeah.
along. After a tense standoff inside the SGC, the balls escape, having slipped through SG-1's fingers yet again. It's an episode which keeps the viewer guessing until the very end, packed with humor, sprinkled with action, and more than enough ball for your buck.
He was thinking that one up the whole way home.
Season 10 also marked a huge milestone for the series, as it officially became the longest-running American science fiction show ever at the time. In celebration of this achievement, Stargate SG-1's 200th episode is truly something to behold. When Martin Boyd, creator of the series Wormhole Extreme,
It is
which
so
loosely based on
wild.
SG-1's actual missions, arrives at Stargate Command to ask for notes on a new movie script, the ensuing dramatized pitches send the episode rocketing into stratospheric meta height. If the previous 100th episode celebration was SG-1 winking to the audience, 200 is the show putting on a full-blown party for itself. With the framing device established in the pre-credits teaser,
no one does that anymore. You just throw up the title and get on with it.
With the framing device established in the pre-title card teaser, the episode shows its hand as simply an excuse to put on a parade of sketches, parodies, and fourth wall breaks, all the while the cast and crew seem like they're having a blast. In a Mobius strip level inside joke, the episode even parodies Farscape, with Claudia Black reprising her role as Eren Sun.
Pharrell.
Oh, son of a hazmat!
But my personal favourite sketch is the Thunderbirds-inspired
Oh,
segment
yeah.
with puppetry created by the crew from Team America.
If each symbol represents a specific point in space, then 6 of them would create a sort of box. The intersection point between those 6 points would indicate a destination. Maybe, just maybe, the 7th marks the starting point.
While SG-1 has always had its tongue slightly in cheek, 200 is the show fully throwing off all pretenses and simply embracing the silliness of the sci-fi genre and television production. As a viewer, you simply have to surrender yourself to the absurdity and embrace the fun.
Indeed. To PI. Coming this fall.
Hell
Having
yeah.
had its fourth wall-breaking fun in 200, the rest of SG-1 Season 10 continues to deliver great material in the Ori arc, now primarily centered on the character Adria, played by a post-Firefly Marina Baccarin. As excellent as the Ori arc is, one area where it could have delivered more is in the relationship between Vala and Adria. Adria sees Vala as her mother, as Vala did give birth to her. However, this was not
Kind
a
of.
natural pregnancy, and
Yeah.
from another perspective, Vala was merely used as a vessel by the Ori to birth what is essentially the space Antichrist.
I was going to say, yeah, it's... Yeah. Essentially the Antichrist.
No, darling, that you have telekinetic powers. You can stop showing off now.
As mentioned before, Vala begins the show afraid of growing attached to anyone and instead keeps her relationships superficial. This is what makes her relationship with Adria so difficult, because on some level Vala clearly does think of Adria as her daughter, but she's unable to get close to her due to the whole aforementioned space Antichrist thing. The dramatic tension between the two of them flares up in a few episodes, but I've always felt the dynamic between these two characters could have been mined for even richer material. The latter half of the season sees SG-1 using an ancient weapon to destroy the Ori, and in the penultimate episode, a mortally wounded Adria fights to ascend before her death. It's a solid episode, but I've always wished for a bigger emotional payoff to Vala and Adria's arc in this episode.
I always wondered if you had it in you to kill me.
Despite SG-1's success in destroying the Ori and their herald gone from the galaxy, the Ori conflict is still far from over. Unfortunately, this was a conflict cut suddenly short when the production team learned
Yeah.
the Sci-Fi Channel had decided to cancel Stargate SG-1. The Sci-Fi Channel's reasons for this have never been made entirely clear. Many news outlets speculated about declining ratings and rising production costs, but Sci-Fi Channel themselves stated their reason was not ratings-based and have never explained further. News of the show's cancellation came well into Season 10's production, completely blindsiding the cast, crew, and fans
It's like
alike.
2/3 into the
Ironically,
season.
the production team had been anticipating the end of the show since Season 6, and had written every subsequent season finale to function as a potential series finale at the same time. It was thanks to the show's success on the Sci-Fi Channel that SG-1 continued for so long. And yet, just when the showrunners had gotten comfortable enough to expect an 11th season, that's when the axe fell. After Sci-Fi cancelled the series, Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper tried to find a new home for SG-1, eventually drumming up interest from Apple, who suggested turning the show into a web series exclusive to iTunes. However, a non-compete clause in MGM's contract with Sci-Fi prevented the deal going through. Thus, Stargate SG-1 abruptly ended with the Season 10 finale unending. While under heavy
Ironic.
attack from Ori motherships, Carter activates an Asgard time dilation device which slows down time aboard the Odyssey long enough for Carter to find a solution to escape destruction. What was meant to be a matter of weeks frozen in time turns to years, decades, and potentially to the end of the team's very lives. Unending is a strange and solemn note to end the series on. Rather than an epic battle to save the galaxy or an Indiana Jones-style romp through an ancient alien temple, the episode simply spends time with this found family as they live out the rest of their lives in their little bubble of time. Of course, it's inevitable that Carter finds a way out of their predicament, reversing time back to the moment before the team became trapped, but the strength of the story comes from watching these characters grow in ways they never could in the regular series.
Yeah.
50 or 60 years? Something interesting must have happened. Obviously, I hooked up with someone.
Of course.
Muscles? It can't have been Mitchell, can it? General Landry?
And in its final scene, Unending lives up to its title by having SG-1 step through the Stargate one more time for further adventures. Because, in truth, this would not be the end of Stargate.
Just another everyday mission to save the galaxy, sir.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Godspeed.
There's something eternal about Stargate SG-1, which is strange considering its contemporary setting and close association with a mid-90s feature film. Yet SG-1 is not a snapshot of a bygone era of television or film the way some other science fiction shows are. It began as such in its early days, but the show quickly developed into something else. It became a show about change, about discovery, about exploration. Ironically, despite the change in creative direction to a pulp action-adventure series, Stargate SG-1 overall represents the themes and ideas which so captivated me when I first saw the original movie. Stargate SG-1 was seemingly the one sci-fi series which could survive anything. It could be cancelled and then revived elsewhere. Major cast members could depart, return, and then depart again, and the series wouldn't suffer because of it. And no matter how many planets SG-1 visited, there was always more adventure waiting just beyond the event horizon.
All right. There we go. To come back, and we get into Atlantis, which is its own separate beast. Also, there's a character in there I think you guys might recognize. Kind of before he actually got his start in Hollywood. I'll leave it there, but yeah, not many people know about it. His role in this series, so yeah. I'll leave that for you to discover. the next time we pick up with this. So, if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you whenever I see you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are. I've been Purist, signing off.